a deep breath. First, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Humanity as Organism Thrives Convergence Room at Peace Week. And it's been such a beautiful week so far. It's only the second day of Convergence Rooms, but it's just so beautiful. So this is an Akashic Records reading. I'm an Akashic Records reader, and often I do readings for not just individuals, but the collective. So in this case, the reading is for all of us who are here and all who are together in energy, supporting and giving and receiving the gifts of Peace Week. And I've decided to ask for guidance with regard to each of the core needs each day. Those are such amazing core needs that were birthed to life by Shelley Ostroff and Jan Golding. So let's all start with just a deep breath, just to relax. Often we've had a full day, and if you're beginning the day, if you're in the United States or one of those time zones and you're beginning the day, just take a breath, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And just relaxing into a space where there's just you and connection within. There's nothing that you've got to do here. There's nothing that you've got to be. Just be as you are. And right now, I'll just open the Akashic Records. So give me a minute to do that. And then we'll get some divine guidance. The records are now open. I'll just see what guidance comes. Just give me a few seconds. And I've put my deepest intention out about what vitalizing foods mean for us and us as a collective, and what we may know about them or anything else right now in this moment. So just give me a second. And what I'm getting is that vitalizing foods are not just what we ingest into our body, that we're looking at the literal other things that we take in, like sunshine. Please excuse me, there's a storm brewing here. Yes, the little things like sunshine and the fresh air, but it's also the light that extends from within our beings to the external world around us, and what we choose to take from the external world into our beings. That is vitalizing food too. It can be. And just give me a moment. And they're saying that it's not about what we all take in, everything that we take in, whether it's in food form or whether it's in any other form, whether it's a sunlight or whatever we choose to take in from our external world, that it isn't the vitalizing food that actually determines anything. It's our energy combined with the vitalizing food. When we decide to take something in, it is the energy point, that space of vibration that we're coming from, that determines whether or how we are nourished through that vitalizing food. And whether we're in a position to receive it. When we're in a position to receive, it's not just about taking it in, it's about we're in a position to utilize it and to let that vitalizing food, whatever it is, be of value to our bodies, to our minds, to our spirits, to our whole beings. And when we're in that specific energy space where we're allowing that receiving, then we are fully nourished by vitalizing foods. Give me a second. I'm also saying that our beings are vitalizing foods, not just for ourselves, but for our whole global family and our non-global our whole global human family and our whole global non-human family, which includes the plants, the creatures, the earth itself, and things like rocks and everything that is part of our earth. We have the ability to be the nourishment. And when we choose to be that nourishment, we are able to give as we are able to receive. And another message that I'm getting is that choosing to be the nourishment includes deciding what energy space to come from and doing the, I don't want to call it work, but being able to raise one's own vibration and take care of oneself, to be able to be in the space where we are able to be effective nourishment, where we are able to give effectively, so that where we come from just ripples out to our world, to our immediate family, our immediate community, our world, and that includes, as I said, our human family and our non-human family. And that's part of us being vitalizing food for the rest of the world that we interact with. And they're saying that where we are well, the world is well, because when we are well, we see the world differently. And wellness indicating not just well physically, although that is a part of it, but it's well in the space of mind, in the space of body, in the space of spirit, when we also feel connected, where we are well and taking care of us first, then we are able to see the world in a way where we can see possibility, we can see opening, we can see ability to nourish the world, to make it better, to have a higher global vibration, because we see it. It's in our vision, and when it's in our vision, then we're able to create it. When we're not in a space of wellness, we're not able to see it, and it's not in our energy space to even come from that vibration where we can create it. And we all have both sides of the spectrum, from one to the other, and we may be in the middle, we may be on the one side of the spectrum, we may be on the other. But what we're called to do, and not by any external force or anything like that, but what we're called to do inside by our souls, by God within, source within, divinity, whatever you want to call that, your heart, your center, what we're called on to do is to just be in that space, that heart space of higher vibration, just to move up on the scale, to live in our deepest potential every moment, and every moment is a new moment. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have times when we're at a lower vibration, which is fine, but we are called then to get into the highest space we can, the highest vibration we can in that particular moment, and to treat each moment as a new moment. And there is no looking back. There is no looking at the future and saying, I'm going to be in a higher vibration. Just be in the truth of the moment and be as you are, and be able to absorb the nourishment and receive it from our external world, whether it's literal food, whether it's sunshine, whether it's just seeing the visual, the beauty, hearing, the senses, and just the connection, and being in that space. And when we're in that space, then we get to give all those things and ripple it out to the world. So that's the message that I'm getting right now. If you'd like to ask any questions for the collective, it's not for anyone personally, but for our collective here in the, excuse me, in this Humanity as Organism Thrives room, and also for our greater collective, those of us who are supporting and holding up and giving and receiving the gifts of Peace Week. If you'd like to ask any question for the collective, please feel free to type it into the chat. And I'll just give you a minute or so to be in that space. And to everyone who's just come in, welcome. I've just done an Akashic Records reading for our collective, all of us in Peace Week, giving and receiving, supporting Peace Week with the gifts we have and with the gifts we're receiving. And it's all about vitalizing food and what enables us to be in the space of receiving the vitalizing food and giving it. So I've just said that now that the message has been given, I'd ask anyone who has a question for the whole collective to just type it into the chat, and we'll get some divine guidance with regard to that question. So please feel free to type into the chat if you'd like to. I'll just give it a minute. And just be in the space. Just giving and receiving breath and energy. Okay, I will just see if there are any other messages to receive. And if no one has a question, okay, I see there is a question. Any insights about ways of being with those of radical food choices who would like everyone to choose their way? I work with compassion. Just my heart is asking. Thank you for that question. Give me a minute. And the wisdom just comes from them saying that just bearing in mind and conveying this, if you feel that the person you're speaking with or the person you're interacting with is in a space to receive, then just conveying that message that each of us is in a different energy space. And that being the case, vitalizing foods and our food choices aren't the only thing that determines our health, whether it is our physical health, our mental health, our spiritual health, that the foods we take in are only part of that choice. The way we perceive that in mind and in energy, the way we're able to take that in and receive that physically with our connection and how we feel about that food determines how that food is processed and determines how that food is received by our bodies and how it energizes and strengthens our cells. And they're saying that not everyone may be in a position to receive that message. However, if you'd like, if someone is not in a position to receive that in words, just be in that energy space where you're conveying that, and you will be guided to what words to use to determine it to the capacity they are able to receive it. In other words, just asking in a way that, just saying it in a way where you say something like, well, what I feel guided about is that how people feel within their bodies and the way they think also determines the way the food is processed. That might, in the body, that might help them to receive it, maybe if they're not ready for that full explanation. So you will be guided to whatever words to use to receive, to use so that they're able to receive it where they're at. And sometimes if they're not able to receive it, you'll just send out your energy, and on some level, they will get it. Thank you for that question. Abigail, any insights about being with economic and political? You're welcome, Bridget. Any insights about being with economic and political systems that continue to dehumanize the poor? Give me a minute, please. Okay, the message that I'm getting, and it's also being in a space to receive this message, that as individuals, we choose our vibration. That vibration determines what we see, it determines how we give, and it determines how we receive. That being said, all of us, each of us is able to increase our vibration and receive on a higher level. They're saying that this is a very sensitive question and topic for us humans, because so many questions come. Well, can we really see that people are can we really say that people are on a lower vibration if they're not in a space to receive on a higher level, and they're receiving treatment which we feel is unjust? And there is no, they just want you to know that in the world, everything will be okay. And even though through our eyes, in this short-sighted moment, it feels like things are often so unjust and there should be fairer treatment. They're saying that before we come into this world, we come in with a purpose, and perhaps it's a purpose to learn something or to grow, not because we have to, but because we've chosen to be with that. And because of it, we may be subject to certain experiences which are contrasted to what we would like. So we may experience something that is unpleasant to us in order to see what we like. An example being that if you don't know the darkness, how do you know the power of the light? When you're in the light, you only know how magnificent and powerful it is because of the darkness. Think of us as a collective. We do that too. We only know the power of the light because we have seen its potential. And when we're subject to darkness, we can know exactly that that's what we really don't want. And we can see what we do want. We can see the light is what we do want. So being with these economic and political systems, we can change them. The deepest service we can give is just by seeing the possibility that we can create and being in alignment with our highest vibration, both as individuals and as a collective. And then these systems will actually dissolve because we'll create a situation where they don't have the power anymore, and that we will shift the whole thinking of the collective, and it will take critical mass. But we can do that starting with us as individuals. And they're also saying, yes, it is a sensitive thing because we don't always see it like that, and it's very heartbreaking for us on a human scale. But this is the greatest service we can give. I hope that answered your question, Abigail. Thank you for your question. Are there any other questions? We still have a few minutes left, so if you'd like to, then put it in the chat. I'll give it a minute. Okay. Let me just have a look at the chat. You're welcome. Any insights about other intergalactic beings helping us at this time? Give me a minute. They're saying that there are many different beings in different worlds helping us, that we're not able to perceive or understand, that we always perceive other beings in a way that we can understand them. Some of us would see angels because that's what we grew up with, or that's what we that's what we understand. And others who do not have those beliefs will see it in a different way. And they're saying sometimes we don't have the perception of other intergalactic beings, or how to see them, how to explain them. just as a person who cannot see may not have the perception to know a certain color or to know what a certain picture looks like. That's how we may be, but there are many beings helping us. And I feel a very light feeling in my chest as I see that. And for me, that's bodily confirmation. It's a very light, just being held up, being like the feeling that we come from such strong heritage, and it's not just our human heritage. So there are other intergalactic beings being with us, helping us for the good of the universe, for the good of our planet, and just being there for every being thriving. And all of us as a collective on planet Earth, our human global collective, don't always perceive that. We don't always have an understanding of every being thriving. There's a survival and a competitive thinking. And as we dissolve that thinking and go to a higher vibration collectively, we'll have more of a perception and more of a communication with intergalactic beings who do help us and are in communion with us on a different energy level, even though we don't know this on our surface human conscious level. Thank you for that question. Okay, Abigail, follow-up question. What resources can help us stay in a higher vibration? You're welcome, Bridget. You're welcome, Nafedi. Okay, give me a minute, Abigail. Okay, what they're saying is the resources that that we've been talking about, the things that we take into our system. So on a physical level, we take food and of course water into our system, which is so important. And on the subject of water, they're giving us the message to take in energized or vitalized water. And they're saying that obviously we may not have access to fresh water from a spring every day. We may have access to water from our taps or perhaps bottled water or whatever it is, the best that we can do for ourselves. But we can always energize and infuse the water with just our energy and our words and our thoughts, and infusing that water and then being able to take it in. So that's on the physical level, that good food choices and water. And they're saying the food choices, like we've discussed, can be, you know, it is what revitalizing food is, and we all know that. However, it's also the way our energy interacts with the food, and it's not a physical energy kind of thing. It's a whole being energy, the whole vibration. So being with that that energy, and it's almost like completing the circle. We take in these foods. When we look at foods, and we're in alignment, so we get into alignment, we know whether those foods feel good for our body or not. And we know that the foods that we know are unhealthy, they don't feel good for our body. When we're not in a good space physically, there's certain things that we crave, and it's never those fast foods that we decide to eat. And they're saying that it's not about shaming oneself or living as a like a puritanical food lifestyle. but just being able to nourish ourselves with the food. So then when we do that with good food and with the energy from which we come from, we go to a higher vibration, and the vibration is completed, because when we're in a higher vibration, then we're in a better position to choose good foods and to energize the water. So that's on a physical level. And on an emotional level, we just feel what would be good for us. And those emotions, those feelings are just indicators to help us determine what vibration we have. It's a way of tuning into your body, just like you tune into anything else, like you tune into a Zoom meeting, just getting to the right Zoom ID number. So we tune into our body by thinking, what am I feeling right now? Am I feeling happy, unhappy, angry, sad, whatever the emotions are on top of the world? And we know then, okay, I'm on a higher vibration or a low vibration, I can get just a little bit better. So the emotions show us where we are. Then on a mind level, they're saying that from there, as we know what good food is for our bodies, we know what good thoughts are for the mind, and we can get help. We can nourish ourselves with things like this, with Peace Week, with material that we know is going to inspire thoughts of hope, thoughts of possibility, thoughts of greater self-worth and being in the zone and connecting, that kind of material to take into our mind. And then spirit, connection, whatever we believe, and all beliefs, all are just a path to standing in that divine space. But whatever gets you to stand in that divine space is absolutely the way to go with staying in a higher vibration. So you know what that is, you know what you believe, you know what gets what feels good and what feels in alignment, where you just align, and just being in that space on a you feel good within your being. You can tell from your emotions, you feel a little bit lighter, you feel a little bit higher, you feel a little bit less nervous, less anxious, or maybe you feel really good. So that's how those are the resources. So the resources aren't just a fixed thing. They're what is determined by us and what we as individuals need. As a collective, the resources are the same. We are individuals, droplets in the ocean. And as individual droplets, we're able to know that we're part of the ocean, but we're also able to take our individual facets and know what we contribute. So those are the resources that we can use. And then as we're in a higher vibration, it's so much easier, they're saying, to choose those resources. So I hope that helps. All right. Oh, thank you, Esther. Okay, I think I could, if there are one or two last questions, then we can do that. So if anyone has a question or two, otherwise just be in the space with me. I'll just wait for a few seconds. Okay. Well, I'm just going to ask if there's any other guidance, and then I'll close the records. And what I'm getting is just allow, they're saying that we should allow, not we should, but the guidance is to allow ourselves to be in that space where we absorb everything that we've come to this gathering for, not just this gathering, but the entire Peace Week gathering. Just allow ourselves to absorb it, and any resistance, give ourselves permission to dissolve it. We don't have to worry about the how, but just consciously asking for the freedom and the permission to just dissolve any resistance we have to get to our highest vibration. And just in that inspired action, us absorbing the what we take in, all this wonderful, amazing material, just we're able to absorb it. It's almost like we have a higher bioavailability. We have a more effective microbiome of our whole being when we give ourselves the freedom to absorb what is there, give ourselves the permission to release resistance. And I'll now close the records. The records are now closed. And I just want to thank all of you for your energy and your love and your light, and just being in this wonderful space with me, and for all those wonderful questions. It will be exciting to listen to the recording. So thank you, all of you.